Once upon a time, there was only darkness. And then a spark was ignited from a roundhouse kick that created all existence.
Right up here. Here. Switch. Here. Switch. Okay.
That spark, ladies and gentlemen, was Chuck Norris.
When the boogeyman goes to sleep every night, he checks his closet for Chuck Norris.
Universally thought of as the greatest American to ever exist, it is crucial we introduce Chuck to a whole new generation of people who think that The Rock is a legitimate action tough guy.
Me and you, one-on-one, no one else around. I will beat your ass like a Cherokee drum.
No, they wouldn't dare.
Let's take a quick dive into the man, the myth, the one above all others, and bask in the glory that is Chuck Norris's Chuckness.
Chuck Norris doesn't dial the wrong number. You answered the wrong phone.
Born Carlos Ray Norris in 1940, Chuck didn't violently kick his way out of his mother's womb like most people think. He was initially just a normal, shy human and struggled in school. But after joining the Air Force, Chuck allowed martial arts to teach him while he was stationed in South Korea, and tapped back into that universe-creating aura he let loose at birth.
Did you know that I got bit by a king cobra? And after 5 days of agonizing pain, the cobra died.
After a shaky start, Chuck proceeded to win 6 World Karate Championships, retired undefeated, and went on to open his own chain of dojos across the US. Unfortunately, that whole venture turned to dog shit because dojos couldn't handle Chuck's vibe and he lost a shit ton of pesos. 'Twas quite lucky for Chucky that one of his students was the infamous Steve McQueen, who helped Hollywood discover Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris can pick oranges from an apple tree and make the best lemonade you have ever tasted.
Chuck's big break came when he permitted Bruce Lee to take samples of his chest hair in Way of the Dragon. But even in defeat, I think we can all agree it went exactly how Chuck wanted it to go.
Chuck Norris died 20 years ago. Death just hasn't built up the courage to tell him.
From there, Chuck took his rightful place as the exalted one of action and martial arts, sitting atop his throne crafted from the bones of dragons and kitty fiddlers. Nobody can forget Walker, Texas Ranger, a show Chuck created as he was saving a burning orphanage while building a children's hospital. He didn't just solve crimes, he obliterated them with roundhouse kicks, stern looks, cowboy hats, and possibly the most manly beard in television history.
When Chuck Norris attends a feminist rally, he comes back with his shirt ironed and a sandwich.
Chuck wasn't just the martial artist, he became the most badass mythical figure ever. And then, on a random day in the mid-2000s, the internet gave us a gift.
Chuck Norris played Russian roulette with a fully loaded gun, and won.
Often, it's a cesspool of people that Chuck would despise. But on this occasion, it gave us Chuck Norris facts. Or should I say, Chuck allowed us to receive his facts. You know the ones. Those epic one-liners that turn Chuck into everything Steven Seagal wishes he was.
See, most of Seagal's movies, his action is done close up. You really can't see. Everything is real quick cuts, so you don't get a chance to really see exactly what he's doing. Where with Van Damme, trained with me for 1.5 years when he came over from Brussels.
These facts became a cultural phenomenon and have been verified by experts as authentic and 100% true.
When Chuck Norris left for college, he told his father, "You're the man of the house now."
They were shared in emails, forums, college dorms, group orgies. Chuck Norris was everywhere, even on people's flesh.
I went in, and I bent down and I petted him, and all of a sudden, you heard this, like that. So the trainer says, get up very slowly and back up. So the tiger did. He slowly got up and backed out.
The memes didn't make him famous, they just confirmed what we already knew. Chuck is the baddest motherfucker alive.
Chuck Norris wears sunglasses to protect the sun from his eyes.
And then there's Sensei Soggy Biscuit, Steven Seagal. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Big Daddy more than anyone else, and the man has certain skills.
Okay.
He's a 7th Dan black belt in Aikido and a grandmaster in Bullshido, and nobody snatches a birthday or eats a cookie like the Great One.
I love the fuck out of cookies.
Cookie!
But let's face it, watching him fight is like watching someone wrestle a folding chair in slow motion. And as Michael Jai White would say,
Steven Seagal is doing anything physically in a movie that your dad can't do. You have your dad do the same physical movements and see if that can be done or not.
Chuck is all about power, speed, control, and badassery. And awesome facial hair. Seagal looks like he just woke up from a nap and wandered onto set wearing either his wife's jeans or a tablecloth. Chuck punches through walls. Seagal will mumble stuff and the stunt double does the rest.
The flu has to get Chuck Norris shots once a year.
If they ever fought, well, let's be real, Seagal wouldn't know what hit him, because there would be no name for it yet. It would be some Chuck Norris-y attack traveling faster than the speed of light.
Death once had a near Chuck Norris experience.
Beyond the jokes and memes, Chuck Norris has always taken his fame with humility. Nobody seems to have a bad word to say about Chucky, and he's loved worldwide. He's written books, supported veterans, promoted martial arts, and even ran a charity to help at-risk youths. As they say, he's doing the Chuck's work. Underneath the internet legend is a guy who believes in discipline, hard work, and helping others. He has some principles he lives by, and I dig it. All of this just makes the memes even better.
Wise, again, supervision and finding the right instructor who stresses the philosophy, because the philosophy is the important tool here, Dick. The kicking and punching is only the vehicle to strengthen that individual as a person, to raising their self-esteem, raising their self-worth, teaching them how to focus their lives in the proper way, in the most positive way, teaching them the philosophy of goal seeking and realizing that there's obstacles in any goal you want to pursue and having that determination to overcome those obstacles.
Because Chuck Norris really is the kind of hero people want and deserve. So whether you're here for the random Chuck Norris facts, the fists, or the fur on his face, remember one thing. There's tough guys, and then there's Chuck Norris.
There is no theory of evolution, just a list of creatures Chuck Norris allowed to live.
Alright, thanks for watching, legends. If you had some fun worshipping Chuck with me, think about liking the video and subscribing to the channel. If you decide not to do this, I will send Chuck back in time to annihilate your entire bloodline so you cease to exist. Oh yeah, and put on the notification bells too, because that helps tremendously. There's a bunch of Bushido merch worth checking out if you want to look as awesome as Chuck and Seagal. But until next time, legends, always chuck your Norris whenever possible. Definitely grow a beard and wear a cowboy hat. But above all, stay awesome. Peace, legends.
Sunshine bright in the sky, and I'm free when I close my eyes. Help me wash away my sorrow.